Now, it might sound glamorous to own your own railroad, but the reality is it's a very tough business. Only the strong survive, and even then it takes a little luck along with lots of hard work. Let's go out to the plains of South Dakota, where we're going to introduce you to a man and his railroad.
Alex Huff is a survivor, a very hard-working survivor. Much of his adult life has been spent in the short-line railroad business, where folks often last just a few short years. Huff works here in Chamberlain, South Dakota, a Missouri River town 135 miles west of Sioux Falls. It's the home and headquarters of his Dakota Southern Railway. It runs on 190 miles of track between Mitchell and Kadoka. The track is leased from the state. In the 1970s and 1980s, when railroads were going bankrupt and track was being abandoned, the state of South Dakota stepped in and became a major player. Alex Huff had worked in the short-line freight business around the country, and it was more than 20 years ago when the state asked Alex to take over this route. He knows these old Milwaukee road lines like the back of his hand. There were years, before he was pushed out by the big boys in the railroad business, when much of his track time was spent moving wheat. It was sent east to the flour mills or south to the Gulf Coast so it could be sent to Asia.
Well, this is a big grain production area. A lot of high-quality wheat comes out of this part of the state. A lot of it goes in the domestic mill market east of Chicago. And having rail has been has had a definite effect on how much the elevators can offer for grain. Recently, as part of an agreement for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe to acquire state-owned track at Mitchell, we were granted access to other railroads. And that's why we're going back into the grain business, because we now have a working relationship with BNSF competitors.
Now, the main product moved by the Dakota Southern is fiberboard from paper mills in the South. It's made into a variety of cartons for packaged consumer products.
Well, one of the new primary cargoes that we've got is a company that prints food cartons. And those, they ship in inbound rolls of what I would call cardboard, which become pizza boxes amongst other things. And those cars have to be positioned inside the plant so that they can unload through the same door the cars were loaded. Now that means that we use one of the last two active railroad turntables here in the state of South Dakota to rotate the cars as necessary so they can be lined up correctly when they go inside the plant. The plant's unusual in another way in that the track is actually physically inside the building. And because it's food grade packaging, we have to wear hairnets, even I, and earplugs, and of course the usual safety gear. But the only thing you can have in your mouth basically is your teeth. And but it's been good business for us. It basically tided us over during a period when we weren't moving grain here.
Times change, and moving grain is once again a welcome part of the workload. In this business, the only constant is change. Right now, it's just Alex Huff and one full-time employee.
I like working for a short line quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. I get to do more than just ride on the trains. I get to fix the track and work on equipment as well.
It's a short line railroad, but it's been a very long haul. As the train rolls over one of the largest railroad bridges in the country, nearly a mile across the beautiful Missouri River, Alex Huff has a moment to think about the changes he has seen during a long career in the railroad business.
Well, there's certainly been a few negative changes over the years. The biggest one that I see is a desire by the majors to try and reduce the number of small shippers. Basically, they want them to go on to intermodal, or, I mean, some of them are fairly frank. Maybe they should truck instead. That's, of course, a niche that short lines fill, in my opinion. We can give a level of service that the smaller shipper needs and that's pretty critical in holding on to the small shipper base. The future of Dakota Southern is going to be driven largely by the grain market, whether we're able to operate most of the line in the future. As long as we have good crops out here and fuel prices are what they are today, we have an economic reason to be here.
It's important to listen closely to people like Alex Huff. He knows this business inside and out, what works and what doesn't. It's a generation of knowledge that is a gift to the railroad industry.